Hi everybody, Brandon with Fold Up Games, back with a follow-up video. In my last video, I was talking to you about my journey coming over from Game Maker, trying to learn Unity and getting into C# and the progress I was making there. The topic that I wanted to cover today was finding a tutor or a set of tutorials and how to make some progress. I don't think it's really possible to make a whole lot of headway just on your own in this, at least from my experience. Maybe you're smarter than me and you don't need this video. But in my case, I really need some help. So I had first started out here with Udemy, and this is a paid course. It's not a free course, but it is really good course. They start out with showing you how to use the console and how to just get text running to screen and how to use the Unity interface. And it starts out with a lot about writing code. It's a really good course. It's really well organized, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't make it through the course. I kind of stopped midway in the middle of this Project Boost video game, and the reason for that is because I felt like they were moving like new idea, new idea, new idea, new idea, and finally it was like, cool, 5 new ideas at once, and let's see how you do there. And they kind of eventually lost me, and I was like, all right, I can't anymore. But as you can see here, I did make progress and get a game working, so that's not nothing. But it was going a little bit fast for me, and I thought that the ideas were coming a little bit quick, and I finally like, all right, I can't. But that's not a knock on this. You should definitely check it out. Next up, I jumped over to Skillshare. I had a free trial on that, and there was a whole bunch of different stuff. The only thing I can say here, in total fairness to everybody on Skillshare, is that I did not try all of them. All right, that's the only fair thing I can say, because from what I did try, it was not awesome. I'm so sorry. Not awesome, just various levels of not awesome. I found better courses on YouTube, and in fact, the scattershot nature of YouTube, whether you're going to get anything good or not, is what kind of drove me over to try a more formal class, and I'm glad I did. I'm absolutely glad I did. Trying to find just random stuff on YouTube is not a winning strategy, especially the older stuff. The further back you go, the more out of date it is, and the less likely you are to have any kind of success. So finding newer stuff on YouTube is a big win. Finding things that are of any good quality, that's a challenge. But I was not impressed with the quality on Skillshare. Sorry, Skillshare. If there's a course on here that's worth looking at, and there might be one on my screen right now, then definitely point it out. But from the ones that I looked at, they were just not great. I'm sorry. That really made me think more about the Udemy course, because they were organized, they were very well recorded, they were done by people who were very intentional and structured in their thinking and in their training. They were just going a little bit above my head too fast. That's all I had a problem with them. The rest of it, though, was really nice. Next up, let's take a look at Unity's own training. This is the same one that you'll also get into if you just go into the Unity Hub. When you start off in that system, you can get into this training, but you can also go to learn.unity.com, but the tutorials are right here under Learn as well. You can find a bunch of great materials here. I did the FPS micro game, and that's really just to train you in how to use the Unity interface, and that was really neat. I also got into one of these creator kits, and it was this RPG one, which is another introductory one. It's not so heavy onto code as it is just showing you how to move around Unity. Really bite-sized chunks, and this one was free. There are some paid ones on here, but this one was free. Itty-bitty bite-sized chunks. Do this, do this, do this, and make progress. I definitely think this is worth looking at. There's probably some more great stuff here on the Unity Learn website and in the tutorials section. It was enough to make me feel good about it. The reason I didn't go through any further on the RPG one, because it really seemed like at some point they just kind of switched into, cool, let's continue making a video game with our RPG maker. And if you didn't know any better, you'd think that, hey, if I right click here, I can add this element. And no, that was just stuff that was just for that RPG creator kit. So I think that they kind of veered off the rails towards the end of there, and we're just training you in how to use their RPG maker, which is not learning Unity. So anyway, there's a lot of other tutorials. Most of them are text or GIF animations in here than video. But they are bite-sized and real consumable, at least from what I've seen, and I haven't gone too deep into this, but yeah, I'm still positive about that. Next up, I'm going to save, I think so far, my favorite, best for last here. Speaking of YouTube and finding something good, Brackeys. You might have come across some of his videos already. I just finished his first video in the series on just how to make a video game, and he takes you through how to make a video game. I know it sounds obvious when I say it out loud, but he takes you through how to make a video game start to finish. I mean, by the time I was done here, I had a working video game with a title screen, with a credit screen. It switches levels. It does absolutely everything it's supposed to in a video game. One of the big differences that I had learning this one versus some of the other ones, and I kind of got to questioning, particularly if I'm honest, on the Udemy courses, I really got to where I was questioning whether I had any chance of replicating what I was learning. What's the point of learning this if I can't just, okay, cool, go and do it myself? It's fine if I can do it with you holding my hand, but do I have the ability to go and do this on my own? That still holds true to a degree on this little one, this little demo here from Brackeys, but I feel like I know more about what I'm supposed to do doing this tutorial than I would on the other one. So this one was a better demo of what is possible and to teach me skills that I can take and translate later on. And he did a really good job just taking you bit by bit. It was both coding and making a game. That's one of the issues I thought with the Udemy courses, that they started out with just coding and you're barely making a video game, and that's not rewarding to not be making a video game when you're trying to learn how to make a video game. So to Brackeys' credit, he really had to make a game and learn code along the way. There was a little bit of it, and I mean a little bit of it, that was kind of dated, like some of the commands or different stuff appears different in Unity, or some of the commands have been deprecated and you have to fix it. But that was the problem I had said earlier on. If you're looking at anything, and it's probably not just YouTube, it's anybody, if it's older than, say, if it's getting past 2016, things have changed so much, you're going to find things that just don't line up anymore. You might be banging your head against a wall thinking you've done something wrong, when in fact it's not your fault. It's just the system has changed. But anyway, let's jump over here, and I'm going to show you what I've gotten to so far. In my last tutorial, I was showing you my little 3D world that I was kind of jokingly calling Demoland Plus, just in case anybody thinks that's funny. I thought it was funny. And that was just a sandbox area where I would just dump in, any code that I wanted to do, I'd throw it into that, and I'll still go back over to that and dump code in. And I kind of feel like you get to a point, and I might be at that point, where you know some of the stuff, you have a glimmer of understanding, but what you've really done is to have a collection of a whole bunch of code that works. So I could pull code from one project to another one and get something actually working. Whether I 100% understand those bits of code or not is another matter. So it might take me some time to really get a really deep, solid understanding. And I know even in this, some of my back-end coding, like the movement of the character, was probably, I could do better with it. It's a little bit janky, a little bit rough, but the character is now working and doing what I wanted, and I needed some help on this. I did not do that completely on my own. But there is a really strong community around Unity, and I do know somebody who's better than me, so I'm able to ask sometimes directly. That's a huge help. Not that everybody's got somebody that they can just talk to, but I'm fortunate enough to have that. But anyway, that's where I am so far. So what I'm going to do next on this project is to learn how to do animations on the character that I have not done yet. Then I'm going to put in some gameplay elements to make it an actual playable game, like some collectibles and things like that. But at this point, I was able to do all the terrain painting. I was able to get the character to behave the way I wanted it to. I brought in all these elements, like these rocks, these cattails, the tree, all of that I created in Blender, and was able to bring that in. This water is an element that I got from the Unity store, so that was really cool. But I was able to figure out how to code it to be a trigger, and to say my character's in the water or not, so it moves and behaves differently. It kind of struggles because it's a little bug if it's in the water, whereas out on land it acts differently. So that's the kind of stuff that I was making progress on, and it is just little bits and pieces of headway. So I think I'm kind of getting to where I'm getting just glimmers of understanding here and there, which is a big win. And it seems like that might be just the way to go. You just make small progress here and there as you continue to feel like you're banging your head against the wall. But, if you don't give up and keep on going, it's really going to be really helpful. Some of the other elements here I'll show you, like this is all terrain painting within Unity, and with some paint textures that I created for this that are painted onto it. So I learned that. I learned how to make the grass, and then I brought in a element out of Blender, this tunnel, which is a 3D model inserted, and it flows with the rest of the terrain. I also have an ability to hit shift and run a little bit faster here. So yeah, there's a lot of real meat and potatoes, basic stuff that I need to know in order to make a game, even though I know some of it I'm maybe not doing it the right way, or it could be slicker, or it could be coded better. At least it's all working correctly. So I would owe a lot of that to the lessons that I've gone through so far. But anyway, don't give up on what you're doing if you're trying to learn, and do check out some of the tutors that I have looked at, and let's keep learning together. Thanks, you guys. I hope you have a great day.